the 144th day of class, and instead of taking you through a PowerPoint like I normally do, I want to take you through the assignment that we did in class. And I started with the question, is the internet good or bad? And that got a reaction out of you, and I don't blame you. Living in modern times, try to envision a world without the internet. Now, I'm an older person than you, and a lot of people mark the birth of the internet 3 days short of my 21st birthday, August 9th, 1995, when Netscape went public. So about half my life has been spent without the internet, and half my life has been spent with the internet. And I posed this question to you, and people spoke of the good aspects of the internet, being able to connect with people, being able to have international friends and instant communication with people. Communication's never been quicker or easier. You know, people can get a hold of you, you find out about world events instantly. People talk about education, research. You know, I remember a time where I had to ride my bicycle to a library, go through something called a card catalog, go through all the cards, find the 3x5 card, find the number on it, find it on a bookshelf, and it may or may not even be there. Now, if there's a question, you just get on Google. It's quick and easy. So it's good for communication. It's good for education. A lot of fun. I mean, the vast majority of us were just relaxing on YouTube, just hitting up YouTube videos because it's fun. Video games. A lot of people were enjoying the video games, aspect of that, and people were talking about the economic aspects in terms of being able to buy and sell online, get all your Christmas shopping done from the privacy of your home. You don't have to go to a mall anymore. And, for the most part, people spoke of good things, but then we spoke of the bad things. Cyberbullying, something I did not have to contend with as a young person. Cyberbullying is bad. I mean, I can recall some mornings where things are really tense in the hallway before school even starts, because of some nonsense that went on the internet the night before. People spoke of the dark web and the evil and terrorism and criminals engaging in practices on the dark web, perverts getting a hold of the computer and trying to, do bad things with that. And we went back and forth. Is the internet good? Is the internet bad? And it's a fairly new technology, and I think we're still navigating through the new technology. Is it good or is it bad? But I think we all came to a conclusion. It was a mixed bag, but it certainly had an effect. Some things good, some things bad. And any new invention in history follows this pattern. And there's 5 rules that all new technology follows, whether that's the internet or whether that's stuff that happened centuries ago. And rule number 1, when new technologies emerge, it's expensive and in the hands of only the wealthy and powerful. Over time, these technologies become cheaper and more accessible to the masses, and everybody can relate to that. Hey, I can wait in line for the brand new iPhone 38 that rubs your back and makes you pancakes or whatever. It's going to be really expensive. I wait a year, it's a lot cheaper. So new technology is expensive, it gets cheaper. No argument in class for this one. Number 2, we build on the collective learning of those who came before us. So if I take my iPhone, well, that used to be a flip phone, and that used to be a phone connected to something called an answering machine, where a little cassette tape, you'd have to say a little message, and that could, keep people's messages, which was a big advance at that time. Caller ID. Before that, it was push button, rotary dial. When I was a little kid, the phone we had in our house was still a rotary dial. I don't know if you could even operate that. And then before the rotary dial, it was those things you see where you got the thing in your ear and okay. So we build upon the collective learning of what came before us. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3, cultural diffusion occurs through invention and technology. People will migrate and interact to share in technologies, and cultures put their own spin on an existing technology. What the Japanese did with the internet compared with what the British did with the internet, compared with what the Americans did with the internet, everybody puts its own spin, and as it mixes with other culture, it takes on a new identity. Again, I didn't get an argument from anybody about these 3 things because it's truisms. It's a fact. It's hard to argue otherwise. Number 4, inventions and technology, these are dichotomous and paradoxical, and I threw some SAT words in there for you. And what these words mean is that new inventions can be used for both good and bad purposes, and those are subjective words in their own right, and are often relative in their definition. It's not the invention, it's the use of the person. It's the meaning we put upon the invention. And then somebody's notifying me on Facebook. That's great. There you go, technology. And then number 5, as human beings move through time, technology and invention has accelerated us. It's moved us forward. At this point in history, we're moving very quickly. Heck, this last decade, oh my goodness, shoot, a lot of stuff has been accelerating. And you really could chart this from Oldowan chopper back 2.4 million years ago, the first tool that we've ever found evidence of, all the way to the iPod. And this acceleration continues today. I think about what 10 years from now is going to look like, what 20 years, what my grandkids' world is going to be in. Things are accelerating, things are moving. So this was more of the general philosophical side of it, but during this time period in history, we had some inventions that came down the pipe. Industrialized weapons, movies, electricity, the automobile, the airplane, the telephone assembly line, and the radio. I don't have to get into detail of what these things are. We know what they are. And I'm not going to say, tell me what a movie is, okay? We're too old for that. But what I did have you do in class is break it down along 4 areas. How did it affect the culture? How did it affect the environment? How did it affect humanitarian effort? And how did it affect the economy? Now, in terms of industrialized weapons, do we live in a safer world, a less safe world? And again, with these weapons, if it's in the hands of the good guys, they can liberate death camps. When it's in the hands of the bad guys, they can commit terrorist acts. So that's a mixed bag. Now, in terms of the environment, it has to be a real dud. I mean, to create these weapons, to cut metal, I mean, it's huge amounts of water and pollutants and the destruction they can do, especially in the constructs of war. So the environment's probably going to say bad things. Now, in humanitarian efforts, similar to the cultural items, is it in the hands of the good guys or the bad guys? Am I delivering food to the needy, or am I shooting up innocent people? Again, I don't know. Now, how did it affect the economy? Great. I mean, in all 50 states, we're building military items. We're producing military items in terms of the sporting goods stores that sell these weapons. So economically pretty good. Now, movies, how did it affect the culture? Well, we talked about having a common thread. A kid mentioned Lion King and Finding Nemo and certain TV shows you grew up with gives us a common culture. Movies can bring us a lot of joy, some escapism, but then again, is it too much escapism? Is it people who aren't grounded in realities? Now, the environment doesn't really affect it one way or the other. Humanitarian efforts, they can be used for good or for bad. In fact, in Nazi Germany, a woman named Leni Riefenstahl, fantastic filmmaker, but she made propaganda films for the Nazis, so it can be used both ways. Now, for the economy, obviously big money. Now, we can go through these. Electricity. Think of a world before electricity. Only so much you can do by candlelight, and you can go through how it affected things. The car, I mean, I'm talking to you from the Motor City. To me, freedom. That first day you get your keys and you can go wherever you want. Oh my goodness, is there freedom. I hope you all get to get in a car with your favorite people, get behind the wheel of a car and go see something. But again, for the environment, okay, airplanes, phones, assembly lines, radio. For the sake of time, I think you can do this on your own. But if you look big picture, as a culture, it's a mixed bag. It's definitely a modern culture if you look at these 4 things, a culture that we have today in terms of the way we live and the products we have. For the environment took a hit similar to what we learned in the Industrial Revolution. The downside about it, the environment got beat up pretty bad. Humanitarian efforts, how are you using these items? How are you using the internet today? How did they use these items there? Take the airplane, for instance. Hey, we had the Berlin airlift, which saved the day, but we also had the Enola Gay that dropped a bomb on Hiroshima. So in terms of economy, big money, big money. In fact, one of my classes, I had people raise their hands, say, who has family that works in this industry, this industry, this industry? This one was a lot of people. But 85% of the class had people working in these industries, working for DTE in the electricity department, or working for Verizon or AT&T in the telephone department. So the final note I want to leave you with is how these new technologies and scientific breakthroughs both benefit and imperil humankind. And that's the dichotomous nature of the beast. These inventions then, like inventions now, good can come from them and bad can come from them. It's really in the hands of the user. But to end the class, I want you to know about these 8 inventions, and these were game changers. Obviously, we're living in a world where these are still game changers. So during this time period, industrialized weapons, movies, electricity, the automobile, the airplane, the phone, the assembly line, and the radio. These 8 inventions created the world that we're living in now. So pretty simple day, pretty doable day, but it's important to our history, and that's that. So thank you for watching.